And we'll go ahead and welcome you all in. We are going to cover the release wave 2. I see I need to update my slide there. Release wave 2 for Dynamics 365 Biz Apps is what we are going to talk about. So that release wave 2 is going to be what comes October to the early spring in 2025. So let's go ahead and get started for today. I'm just going to move y'all over to my other screen just so I can watch the chat if y'all have any questions. Katie will also be moderating too, letting me know if you have any questions as well. So let's take a look at what's on our agenda. I want to talk to you about something called the Release Planner. In case you've never worked with it before, you're kind of new to working with Dynamics 365. I think it's a helpful little tool to have in your tool belt as you're trying to stay on top of all of those new releases and changes that Microsoft brings in. We'll talk about the deprecations, what are the things going away, and then we're really going to focus on the three main business applications: sales, customer service, and customer insights. Now, when we look at these, we're not going to go through every single thing for each one of those business apps. My goal in this session, since we have just a limited amount of time, is to really make sure that we're going over the things that have already been released. Things started in October, and then show you the things that are kind of coming up or coming soon here as well in November, December, and look at some of those things that are early release and things that are already generally available and we can start using today. So first up, just as a way of introduction, again, if you're kind of new to the Dynamics 365 space or working with Power Platform, I highly recommend adding this experience.dynamics.com release plans. Add it to your favorites bar. What I like about this is it breaks the release notes down into Power Platform notes, but you can also see there's that Dynamics 365 up at the top too, so you can sort of break them down that way. The thing I like about it the most is that if there are features I am excited about or functionality I'm looking forward to that's going to solve an issue that I have, I can sort of add them to this list so I can keep my eyes on my favorites and see when those are coming. You can also see up at the top there's some handy filtering options for what's being planned, what's in early release or preview right now, and also what are the things that are available right now. So you can sort of see they break those features down that way as well. Again, you will be able to see when those things are early access and public preview. Again, it will keep you informed of those things. And again, we can keep track of that plan that I have, and I can go back and watch on those features that are coming into the system. A couple other pages I think you might want to add to your favorites as well. Change history. This is a long period of time where this release wave has things coming out, and dates change and shift. Sometimes things come out earlier, sometimes things get pushed. So you might be hopeful for something coming, but you might want to review too in case any of those dates change. You'll be able to see that on this change history website as well. And then another one that I really like is this early access features website. Again, all of the things that we get a chance to try out before the release wave. It'll show us when those early access features are available. There'll be those little green checks next to them. So again, I know this is functionality I can go test in a development environment or go practice with as well. All right, let's talk about the dearly departed. What are some of the deprecations that we're seeing in Biz Apps for this release wave cycle? So let's talk about sales. There's something out there called the assistant, and you may or may not be using the assistant. When you're in the sales application and you see that little light bulb icon up on your navigation bar, that is called the assistant. So the assistant has this baked in functionality of keeping its eye on things for me as a seller. So things like an appointment that I have, it'll give me a thing that's called an action card. So these little assistant action cards, we had templates available for them. If you were a premium user of the assistant, you get the assistant base cards for free, if you will, as part of your sales enterprise. But if you are sales premium, there's the ability to create your own assistant cards. Now, for a time, we had these templates that Microsoft made for us, but those are going away. So as of August 1st, we said goodbye to the templates. Now, if you were someone who was using the templates to create some of those cards, they're still going to work as is. We just don't have that starting place anymore. And again, if you are a premium sales premium assistant user, you have the ability to still make your own custom cards. You would just use it, do it using Power Automate flows. I have the link to the documentation on the slide. Also, you might be like, I haven't really heard of the assistant before or know how it works, or maybe I want to upgrade to premium to get this functionality. Again, that Microsoft Learn documentation will take you into a little bit more about that functionality. Again, meant to be an assistant, meant to be a helper for me as a salesperson, and the ability to customize them is pretty cool. You still can, we just don't have those templates anymore. That's all that's going away. Also, if you were a premium sales premium customer, you might know about the forecasting. Again, forecasting is something that's in the base sales enterprise, but there was functionality in that forecasting for something called snapshots. And so snapshots have also gone away. That doesn't mean you can't still get a snapshot of your forecast. So forecasting, again, a tool in the sales application about helping me see how my pipeline is forecasting to shape up. And we had the ability, we had some functionality in there to take snapshots. So basically, what did it look like on Monday versus what did it look like on Tuesday? That functionality has been removed, but that doesn't mean you can't still get that functionality. Again, there's a forecast API out there, so you can set up your own sync schedule. And again, have the link on the slide there to get into that if that is something you want to use or were using. This is going to be the alternative for that snapshot piece of the forecasting. Some deprecations we have in customer service in October. We are no longer provisioning omni-channel for customer service in the Power Platform Admin Center. Now you might be like, well, I still need to make some omni-channel channels for me to use. You still do that. You're just doing it in a different place now. So what's being deprecated is the ability to do it in the Power Platform Admin Center. You can still do this functionality. We're just using the new Contact Center Admin Center or the Customer Service Admin Center. So still have this functionality. We're just doing it in a different place. Again, have the link to the documentation on Learn if you need to provision some new channels for customer service. You're just doing it in a new place. One other thing to note, the Customer Service Hub app, kind of the OG, been around for a long time, is leaving us in February next year. It is being replaced again with enterprise customer service licenses. Then you are being encouraged to navigate over and start using the Customer Service Workspace app. Now, if you are someone who has customer service professional licenses, you still have the Customer Service Hub app. You still have support for that for existing customers. And also, again, anyone at that service professional level, the Customer Service Hub app is there. It's just for the enterprise folks are being encouraged to move over to that Customer Service Workspace app. So for new organizations, they won't have that old app. So this is really going to be just affecting new customers to customer service. Again, who are at that enterprise level license. Again, if you are someone who needs to migrate over to that Workspace app, again, Microsoft has some documentation there too on how to migrate over. Some deprecations for customer insights. Microsoft announced this in August, but just as a reminder and a refresher, outbound marketing, a piece of the customer insights application, is being removed from the application. It will officially be removed on June 30th. Now, Microsoft has a ton of resources on what it's going to take for you to transition from using the outbound side of customer insights. If you've been using customer insights since the beginning, you maybe started off just using that outbound functionality and weren't really touching that real-time functionality yet. You are going to want to transition everything over and start using real-time. Sooner the better. June 30th, again, is that deadline. If you need help with that, Microsoft has a ton of documentation. We can definitely help you with that. It's not a huge lift and shift. It is something that you can sort of roll out over a period of time. So absolutely make sure you're checking that out. We are going to be losing a couple pieces of functionality sooner than June 30th, and that is social posting is going to be removed from the outbound application, the outbound side of the application, and LinkedIn lead generation. Also, those capabilities will disappear on December 2nd, so just in a couple weeks here. One thing to note, social posting is not going to have a replacement in real time. Microsoft just kind of said it wasn't really a widely adopted feature set, and their recommendation moving forward is use a third-party tool for your social posting piece and integrate it where you can. LinkedIn lead generation is being considered for a future release. That's just all they're saying right now is they're considering it. So we might be seeing that in a future release, but just know on December 2nd, those things are for sure going away. All right. Now, that's the sad stuff. What are we losing? Let's talk about what we're gaining because there's some really cool stuff here. Again, we'll get this slide deck out to you after the presentation so you can get into these links. The links on the intro slides will take you again to all of the planned features that you'll see for the sales application. Microsoft is telling us a story here around the sales application and what its investment areas are going to be during this Wave 2 release here. They're really focusing on administration and extension experiences, Copilot and AI, of course, big investment here from Microsoft, and really improving those seller experiences. So we're looking at Copilot to help us use natural language to help us summarize information across different record types, being able to get first drafts of my emails. There's all sorts of new functionality here with Copilot. Again, Microsoft's kind of big initiative that we're seeing. Again, a lot of this is going to be around helping sellers find high quality leads and opportunities using some of these AI insights. And again, hopefully empowering sales managers with insights. So again, we have a better understanding of our sales pipeline. One big thing to know, and if you joined me last week for the Power Platform session, one thing that is coming is we now can have a monthly release cycle instead of this release wave. So the release waves are the semi-annual cycle. That's kind of what we've always had for several years now of they introduce a lot of functionality and then it just sort of trickles into the system on this semi-annual basis. Or you can change your apps to be monthly. In fact, the Sales Hub automatically has switched to a monthly cadence for that functionality being added. You can now change this. So if you go into the make.powerapps.com, that maker portal for making our model-driven apps and Canvas apps, when I go into my app settings, I have the option to decide what I want that release channel to be. So again, sales was just recently updated in October to be on this monthly cadence. If you have built some of your own applications, again, you can update those settings if you also want them to be monthly. So what does that mean if I'm on the monthly channel? Then I probably want to add this website to my favorites. Again, have it at the very bottom of the screen here. There will be monthly releases for model-driven apps. So again, you can click into the November release is out. So we can click in there and see what functionality specifically is available right now as a part of our November release. So again, kind of making it so we can iterate more quickly, get those updates more quickly instead of being on that semi-annual release. All right, so that was for our administration section for sales. They also said they were doing a lot of investment in Copilot and AI enhancements. And again, you can see a pretty long list here. Again, I want to focus on the green checks that we have and some of the coming soon things that we'll see in November and December. So let's take a look at some of the things that are in preview now and things that are generally available, those things with the green checks. So again, if you are kind of new or I don't know, have been sleeping this year and not really paid attention, Copilot is sort of popping up everywhere within the Microsoft platform. And so we also have Copilot for Dynamics 365 Sales. Again, if you're kind of new to it and or know about it but haven't really looked into it, have the link here for an overview on what Copilot is meant to do. They're meant to be our little helpers and assistants to help as a seller me leverage insights and streamline my workflows to kind of help me as a seller effectively manage my sales activities, make sure I'm nurturing the right customer relationships and paying attention to opportunities that have a high likelihood of closing, and getting me prepared for meetings with summaries about records or meetings that I've had in the past, or using Copilot to help me draft emails. This is all of that functionality that we're seeing coming as a part of Copilot. Specifically, I want to talk about the email assistant. We've had it in a preview for a little over a year now, and it's now publicly available. It's generally available. You will see it when you are working in an email. There's a little Copilot icon up at the top, and I kind of love this. I use it frequently, definitely to help me with my first drafts of my emails. I can put in some of the key points that I want to talk about, or conversationally explain to Copilot what I want in my email, and then I can adjust my drafts accordingly based on what Copilot is giving me. So I can say I want to adjust, or maybe I need to translate even. And I could choose to start over if I wanted a fresh draft. I'm not happy with this first draft that they gave me. And you can change things like tone, the length of the email that you want to have. So again, these are just suggestions from Copilot, but I can tweak it as I need. And it definitely is a time saver in terms of getting that first draft, getting me started quickly on getting my closer to my final draft. That's what I find Copilot to be helpful for. Again, if you want to learn more about this, have some links at the bottom of the slide talking you through kind of using that rich text editor with Copilot embedded within it when you're working on emails. One other thing that we can do with Copilot is get summaries. And so as an administrator, we can configure our summaries and what we want in those summaries. So Copilot, I can ask when I'm on an account to give me a summary of that account. And so I enable that in Dynamics 365 app. Once I've enabled that as an administrator, I'm then going to configure which entities or which record types and fields or columns within those tables and record types I can use as part of those summaries. What do we want to look at? Do we want to look at what the estimated revenue was? Do we want to look at the close date? What are the things that I want to populate that summary? We have control of that as administrators, and then as a seller, I just have to go in and ask Copilot for that summary about this account. And again, it will give me that information back. So link at the bottom of the slide is how the functionality works and how you would enable it. Again, this is something that is available now and you can start configuring and using today. Now, this other feature that I'm going to talk about here, this is also a premium feature. And so you may not have access to this, but I'll talk about it in case it's something that you are interested in. So this is something called conversation intelligence. Conversation intelligence, again, is a way to monitor sales calls and look for trends and patterns. So when you look at this dashboard, you can see things like, what's the talk to listen ratio for my seller? How long is a pause break before we're speaking? What is that averaging out to? This dashboard and that conversation intelligence is really about helping managers and sales managers coach their sellers for improving those conversations on the phone. Looking for places where we can improve, again, to be better sellers for our customers. So again, this is a new dashboard. Conversation intelligence has been around for a little while now, for a hot minute or two. Again, it is kind of premium functionality, but now we have kind of these cool baked in dashboards that are really just Power BI reports is what we're looking at here. So again, if you are curious about this functionality, want to learn about this functionality as it is also growing, again, maybe this is something you are interested in growing into. It is really cool analytics that we can get, again, around kind of those phone conversations our sellers are having. We can also, and I'm also using this, myself, is getting document summaries. when you are working on a record, you get a lot of documents associated with it. So Copilot is reading the record, but now it can also look at the related documents tied to that record. So again, now I can ask questions about, can you remind me what the budget was for this, or who our decision makers are? And again, it can read through the timeline and those various documents that we have, and again, make recommendations for us or make summaries for us on these lengthy documents. So I'm not spending as much time rereading all of these documents again, but again, getting those quick summaries so I can focus more on building the relationship, what I'm going to say in the meeting, instead of kind of pouring through these documents again. So very cool functionality. Again, no green check yet, but it is something that we are expecting to see in November, to have those recommendations. Those summaries come from the documents related to a record within the sales application. We're also using AI here to, again, help our sellers streamline and focus on key opportunities that have a likelihood of closing so they can prioritize on those. So, a lot of those factors are going to be things like, how much interaction are we having with the customers? How many activities do we have? What's the deal size? What's the likelihood of this closing? Again, this is going to be some AI making some recommendation and prioritizing our opportunities, again, based on some of the information, based on some of our other opportunities in our database. Copilot and AI are going to be making some recommendations for us. This is something we are not going to see in public preview until January, and then generally available. The goal there is April. So not a ton of documentation on this yet, but coming soon, and kind of really cool and exciting functionality. I'm excited to see how this is going to be integrated into the system. All right, another one of Microsoft focus areas was on seller experiences, and we have a couple here to talk about too. So there is something new-ish. I want to say we got it earlier this summer. And it is called the Opportunities Pipeline View. And you might be like, have I seen this yet? I don't know. If you go into your opportunities, it's kind of blurry on my slide, but in the upper left corner, there's a Show As button in your command bar. And underneath that Show As, there's an option. Instead of looking at your opportunities as like a list, you can switch it and look at the Opportunities Pipeline View. So what it gives me is basically like a bubble chart of all of my opportunities based on size, based on close date. And when I click on any of those, it'll show in that list down below. So everything that's in my opportunities view, right now we're looking at the all opportunities view. So it's showing me all the opportunities. The list view is still there underneath kind of that bubble chart that I was talking about. So this functionality itself is not new, but the ability to group and aggregate is the feature that is new and available now for us. So what this means is you can group your opportunities by any of the columns that you see in that view. If I click on a column and I say group by, then we're going to group by that column. So maybe I want to group my opportunities based on the account, or maybe based on the geography of where these opportunities are located. So again, you can use that as your way to group your list together. If you want to not have that group, you can click on that same column header. You'll have an option to ungroup. And then if there are any columns in that view that are numeric columns, you can have an aggregation based on that. So, maybe I have estimated revenue or budget, and I want to total that up. So I can, again, click on that numeric column, click on totals, and then there will be a function option. So your functions that you can choose from are sums, averages, min, and max. And then that aggregated value will show at the bottom of the grid to say, for all of your opportunities, here's the estimated revenue that we're seeing. So again, you can choose to add that to any numeric columns. And again, same thing like with the group. If you want to stop that aggregation, stop that total, you again would just click on the column and choose none instead of adding that function in. Again, that functionality available now, and I have have the link to the documentation if you want to see where it lives and kind of read through that yourself. As an administrator, we also have the ability to customize the lead qualification experience. Again, this is something that's been around for a while. It's just got a new interface to it and a little bit more functionality here than we had before. So this has been a possibility for a while that when we qualify a lead, that's what this is all about. I go to a lead and I choose the qualify button. The out of the box behavior for years has always been it creates an account, contact, and opportunity. If there was an existing account or contact and I put that into the lead, it would just tie my opportunity to those existing accounts and contacts. What this functionality did when they first introduced it was allow me to give the seller some agency to say, when you qualify this lead, which records do you want to create? All three, you just want to make an opportunity. So that functionality is still here. Again, it just has a more updated, modern interface here. And you would do this setting in the Sales Hub application. When you go into the settings area, there's lead and opportunities. That's where you'll find this lead qualification page. So I get to decide whether I want to use the automatic or I want to give the seller the ability to decide which records they want to create. What is new is we can configure a Copilot lead qualification summary. So this is actually kind of cool. I have it turned on in one of my environments. When I go qualify that lead, it just also spits out a quick little summary of what happened on this lead, what account did it come from. So it gives me kind of that overview. So that's something new that we can add in now. Another new thing that we can do is we can configure if my sellers need to make multiple opportunities from a single lead. So that's new functionality we've never had before. So you can say when I qualify this lead, I actually need to make 2 opportunities. So again, I can give that agency to my seller. There is a limit. They can only make up to 5 opportunities from a newly qualified lead, but at least they now have that option. If they do need to make multiple opportunities from a single lead source, we can do that. Again, if you want to learn more about that or how to get into those settings, have that link on the slide for you to review. So that was everything for sales. Now let's switch gears and talk about customer service. Again, Microsoft's investment here for Wave 2, the things that they are really focusing on is the agent experiences. How are our customer service folks enjoying using the application? Do we have any benefits here where we can make things easier for them? Again, Copilot, you're not going to escape it. It's going to be everywhere. So again, infusing Copilot and AI to help our customer service folks, not just our sellers. So Microsoft again is looking to infuse AI into that agent experience and help supervisors as well. Hopefully, again, this will help with agent productivity. And again, extending kind of those Copilot capabilities is going to be a big focus for Microsoft. Also, we have some exciting enhancements here for unified routing. So let's dive in and take a look. For agent experiences, we got a lot of green checks here, a lot of things in public preview and a lot of things already generally available as of October 1st. So let's review some of this. Again, this was something we talked about in the Power Platform session. So in the Power Platform session, I just said, yep, if you have a multi-session app, recent and pinned are now options in multi-session apps. Now, more specifically, an example of a multi-session app is that customer service workspace. So when I mentioned earlier, customer service enterprise folks, they want them to move over to the customer service workspace app instead of the customer service hub. When you move over there, you will see your friends, recent and pinned, that you're used to seeing in the Hub app. Again, they are now available in these multi-session apps, which is what Customer Service Workspace is an example of that. So again, we are seeing this over here specifically in that Customer Service Workspace app. We also have a new agent experience when it comes to handling time for a case. So if you are in customer service or work with customer service agents, There's the time that I'm on the phone with the customer helping them out, but then I also, maybe need to do some research or look for some knowledge base articles, or maybe I'm using Copilot on the web to try and find answers for things, or I'm collaborating with peers or taking notes on the case. So, not all of that is always accounted for. And so now we have this little widget basically that we can add to our case forms to help us with that handling time for cases. It's also going to help automatically capture some time they're spending on a case. So an agent doesn't necessarily have to manually input it and track it themselves. Agents can view automatically calculated case time in this little widget, but they can still add more time to it as a buffer. How it's calculating that is when I'm on the case screen and sort of clicking around and reviewing things, but I have that case screen open, again, it's going to calculate that time that I am working on this case. It's assuming I'm doing that research and making that calculation for me as I have that case form open. Again, if I leave Dynamics and I go do some research or have a meeting about this, I can always come back in and put in that buffer time if I need to. But again, that case timer is going to be displayed right there. So I have that visibility not only into the activities, the actual phone calls that I'm having with the customer, but also as I'm on that case record, it's going to be calculating that time for me as well. So again, links to enabling this feature, adding this widget to your forms, have those at the bottom of the slide here. It is in preview now, so if you have a development environment, you could absolutely start practicing with it, configuring it, see what you like about it, and we should be seeing this generally available in December. So cool stuff here. Along with that, with the agent experiences, there are some enhanced case controls that are available to us. With these enhanced case controls, again, this is something I'm going to set up in my case settings. If I want to use these enhanced case experience forms, the full case form and also that quick create form, we can enable these basically to use these new enhanced form experiences. So what do I see on this? What does this do for me if I turn these forms, these enhanced forms on? What do I get? Agents will have the ability to view and upload multiple attachments directly to a case. They can access all of the attachments in a consolidated view on the record. They'll also be able to get up to speed on activities on the case, identify case fields. We've got some new color-coded icons that we'll see when we're looking in views. Again, this is all to hopefully help me quickly identify things just visually. I know my high priority cases or where they came in from. There's new icons we can look at. Again, this is all hopefully to help with agent productivity. Also, when I'm in views, I can quickly identify where this case is, which queue it's in. And then I also have the ability to just make that worked by field. If you're working with queues, it's going to be right there on the form too, which is helpful. I don't have to go to queue items and go somewhere else. I can just do it directly on that case record. So that's some exciting stuff. So along with those case forms, we also have the ability, again, to see some of this functionality in improved case grids. So we have improved case forms and we have improved case grids. Where you see grids are views when you are working. Again, this is the case view. And so you can see they've added some color coding here on priority. So we see yellow, red, and green to help me sort my priority. We also see status reasons now have some colors added to them. Again, the origin has some icons next to them. Again, just for quick visualization, meant to help and quickly focus on what I need to focus on. So again, these improved case grids we should be seeing now as well. Also, the owner field, little avatars for who the owner is will also be added to these improved case grids. There's also going to be some new columns that you will see. Case age, next SLA breach. So I need to have my first response or I need to resolve the case. It'll show me that SLA right there. If it's escalated and the last interaction, so the last activity that I've logged, and I'll also be able to do inline edits in this view as well. So exciting stuff around case forms and case grids. A little bit more about the attachment piece that I was talking about too. So when we have those enhanced forms, we also have the ability to have some enhancement here when we're working on emails. So adding attachments to a case, but also improvements here, adding attachments to emails. So we can add attachments by dragging and dropping them. I can copy attachments from one email and paste it in another. We can download and attach an email as an attachment itself to another email. You can bulk download and delete attachments off an email. See the attachment size, toggle between tile and grid views for those attachments. You also have the ability to export attachment details into an Excel spreadsheet. You can also receive reminders when I add an email and I say it's attached, and then it'll be like, hey, Joanna, you didn't actually attach anything. I need that feature constantly, so I'm glad it's here. And then again, adding attachments before you save an email. So a lot of times with records in Dynamics, I have to save the record before I can attach other records to it. Now with emails, you can start adding attachments even if I haven't saved the email yet. So that's kind of a nice time saver too. And you can also add any previously used attachments to an email too, again, for quickly responding and getting what I need attached to an email. So exciting stuff there. We also have something around getting a preview of knowledge base articles. So again, if you're in customer service and you're leveraging that knowledge base functionality, something I can do as an administrator is flip this little switch that enables a knowledge article preview when I'm using global search. So global search is called Dataverse search, and it's that search box at the top of our customer service app. And so when I type a word in there, it will bring back all the different record types, cases, accounts, contacts, and knowledge articles. And once I have this little feature switched on to yes, you'll notice in my knowledge article, it came back with this knowledge article as a result. There's a new little icon there that looks like an open book. And so if I click that, it's going to give me a preview of that knowledge article without me having to open that knowledge article. So again, it's all about finding what I need as quickly as possible, not having to wait for a page load. I can preview that knowledge article without even having to open the record. So again, exciting stuff here. Easy switch for me to turn on as an administrator, add in some enhanced functionality for my customer service folks. One other thing, if you are using a multi-session app, sometimes I need to refresh my browser, and that has not been a great experience. When I refresh my browser because things are slow or something crashed or I need to reset up my headset, I lose all of the tabs and sessions that I had open. That's the current experience. Starting right now in public preview, there's a new experience. So we can refresh and that will restore your tabs, any related records that you had, any sessions that you had open. They're all going to be restored when I refresh now. So that's a nice enhancement. Focus is going to be restored on the last session or app tab. And once my presence is reloaded, any conversations, calls, or chats that I had going will also be restored too. So really nice functionality here. Now, a couple things to know. Microsoft wants you to know sometimes your tab order might change. I'd still rather have the tab back than not have to relocate it, but they might be out of order. It won't help you, like this won't help you, like I'm going to close Edge and open Chrome instead. Nope, it's only going to restore Edge and what you had open, or just Chrome and what you had open. So it's not about cross-browser functionality. If you're using the productivity pane, that will pop open again. So where you left off might be there, but your tool state that you had might not be restored. But the pane will still open if you had it open. And again, it might take some time for your chats and calls to be restored. Don't panic. It's just waiting for your presence to reload, and then those conversations will open again too. So let's talk about the Copilot AI innovations that we have here. So not any green checks, but there are a couple of things that we should expect to see in November. So proactive prompts and insights from Copilot. Again, Copilot is there for me, but now it's also going to make some suggestions for me and going to say, okay, this seems to be about a customer reporting an issue about frequent crashes. And so they're also asking questions about shipping of their controllers. So again, Copilot is going to prompt me, hey, do you want to ask how do I check for shipping delays? Like that's the prompt that it's giving me. So I don't even have to think of what I need to ask it. Copilot is again going to give me some proactive prompts on things that I might try or want to think about. So it's going to make some suggestions for me when I'm using it. Again, we also have the ability, we've talked about making summaries in the sales application. We can also make summaries over here in the customer service applications. And in addition to that, we can also make summaries for any record type. So Dynamics comes with a set of tables, the common data model. Oftentimes those are easy to do copilots on because they're in the data model. Microsoft knows about them. But we now have the ability to generate summaries on new tables. So if I had to make my own custom table, maybe to handle work orders or part requests. That's a custom table that we added. We can now leverage AI and get summaries on those custom tables as well. So again, as administrators, again, we can help with reducing some of that manual review time and hopefully increasing productivity because we'll be able to get summaries on those custom tables as well. Unified routing, we have one here. Unified routing, this one is generally available now. If you are in a call center situation, when I needed to make a change to who is managing a queue, let's say someone was suddenly out sick, and so they're off the queue, I got to put somebody else on this queue. Currently, that takes 15 minutes, or prior to October 30th, it took 15 minutes for those updates to happen. Now they're real time, which is great. So if somebody didn't come back after lunch because they're sick, I can put somebody else on that queue and they have access to that queue immediately. They don't have to wait 15 minutes. Alternatively, if I need to take someone off a queue, it happens immediately instead of 15 minutes, and I might have to do a few last minute reassigns. So again, we now have real-time updates for agents on that unified routing piece. All right, let's talk about our last app together then, which is going to be Customer Insights. We're going to talk about journeys and data. So there's two halves of the Customer Insights application. There's two apps there. So we'll start off with journeys. For both customer insights applications, the investment areas from Microsoft here, again, no surprise around AI and Copilot, engaging customers in moments that matter, and looking to unify the sales and marketing processes are really going to be the focus here in customer insights. For customer insights journeys, the moments that matter section has a lot of stuff going on. So we have lots of features that we're expecting in release wave 2. We've got a few green checks here for things that are in preview. Nothing that's generally available yet, but we have some cool things in preview. So let's talk about those. Coming in December, we are expecting to have our base monthly interactions increase to 300 million. So right now it's 100 million interactions with contacts and leads. You can have up to 100 million of those contacts. Now we can have a 30 million, 100 million contacts as opposed to the 30 million contact limit that we have now. So not only are we getting more interactions, we also have more contact limits that we have. And again, I can deliver up to 300 million monthly interactions. Now this is going to be for leads and contacts, and it's also going to be all of your channels. So email messages, SMS, push notifications, or custom channels if you're using those. But again, we have a lot more capacity here. You also can create segments up to 100 million marketing contacts. That's an increase there too. And again, our response time on our journeys is also coming faster. So 30-second response time from when the trigger is activated to a message being sent. Now, that's 30 seconds within the database. It may still take some time to actually deliver that message, might depend on that email recipient's email server, what's going on there. But again, we have some nice increases that we're going to be seeing in December. So just a couple of weeks away there, that'll be generally available. We do have something in preview now. It's pretty cool. When you have an email that's been sent as part of a journey, we now have heat maps on them. So I can see as people are interacting with my email, what are they clicking on most often? That is available in preview right now. That is making Katie very happy because she works in our marketing department and now she can see where everyone's clicking. I love it. We also have double opt-in. This is a much bigger deal for people in the European Union need to have, it's a requirement. You have to have that double opt-in. We had it in outbound, but outbound is going away. And so we now have this availability in real time, and it has been sorely needed. So double opt-in, what that means is when somebody says, yes, I'd like to subscribe your newsletter, we send one more email to say, are you sure about that? I just want to make sure your email address is working. You've given me a working email. And then also just really make sure this is what you want to opt in for. So it's a double opt-in process. How you manage that is you're going to go into your compliance profile and you're going to decide if you want to use this double opt-in functionality. Then you're going to be using things like triggers and journeys to help you build that journey for, okay, someone opted in, that trigger, send them the email to say, are you sure? And follow up with them. So again, we're going to use those tools we already have here to sort of manage that double opt-in process. So again, sometimes for regulatory reasons you want to do this, sometimes just for preferences. I want to make sure my database is as clean as possible. So I want to make sure someone's not giving me a bogus email. That might also be a reason why we decide to turn double opt-in on. Configuring it, using it, again, that link is on the bottom of the slide here. So this is functionality we used to have in outbound and we're going to have generally available here. Again, looking at this month, we're just waiting for that green check to show up. But it's in there in preview now, so you can take a look at it. We also have the ability in a journey to split an audience based on different experiences. So I can do things with attributes on a record and do branching based on that. But maybe I have a specific number that I'm looking at. I want 10% of my people to go down this journey. Maybe there's some new email messaging or offering that I want to try and I want to see how people respond to it. So it's almost like an A/B test for your journey as opposed to an email. Like it's a way for me to test those things out. So I can do a split audience by percentage. I could also do a split by number. So I might say I want to do a split by number. The first 1,000 people to get this email, they are going to get this little special offer. But once those are done, the remaining people going through this journey are going to get this email instead, or this messaging path that they're going to go down. So it's a way to sort of say, I need a specific number of people to go through this, or I want to try a different subset of experiences. That's where we can leverage this split tile. And if you want to learn more about that, the link is on the bottom of the slide. We also now have the ability here in public preview now and should be available in just a couple weeks here in December, the ability to control how fast somebody enters a journey. So I can set rate limits per day or per hour. So this is really around when I have a segment-based journey. You know, if I have a big call to action, there's a big a push to call us now to schedule something and it's a really great deal. If I send that out to like 10,000 people in a segment, am I going to overwhelm my call center or my locations with people calling to get in on this great deal? So this is a way for me to sort of slow down the number of people per day. I don't want to maybe blast my entire database with this message. I want to trickle it out. We now have this functionality around rate limits in order to do that. We also are getting some enhancements here. Again, it should be in public preview as of October. I just took this screenshot like this week. And we still don't have the green check here, but we should be expecting that as we review a journey, as people enter into our journey, this is going to give me some more details, understanding a list of who was processed by my journey. I can also now export that information of a journey step into Excel. So that's kind of nice. Understand where my customers in my segment is maybe different from that first step. People who are maybe bounced right away or other reasons why they were maybe blocked from starting this journey. Going to get a little bit more analytics and understanding here and that ability to export, which is pretty cool. We can also wait for segment membership to trigger the next step in a journey. So I'm going to give you an example here. Let's say my journey is about sending a credit card activation email, and I want to wait for that customer to activate their card before I say, thank you for activating your card, right? It would be silly if I sent that before they activated their card. So if a customer doesn't activate their card within a few days, I can say, well, wait until they get added to this segment. And if after 5 days they haven't been added to this segment, well, now I'm going to send them a reminder to remind them, activate your credit card. And then once they again join that segment, then they'll get the thanks for activating your credit card email. So again, it allows us to control the flow of our journey, again, using segment criteria. For right now, this is not available on trigger based, but this is just going to be, again, based on those segment-based journeys. We are also going to be getting event portals back. Again, this was something we had in Outbound, that when you published an event, it just automatically made a portal for you. In December, we're getting public preview, and in February, it'll be generally available. Right now, in real-time marketing, we are just using forms to handle registrations. In December, we have the ability to make a Power Page template. So I don't think it will be as automatic as it was in Outbound, but again, we will have a template and we can build a Power Page. And this is kind of nice. It can be that hub for all of our events, what people can register for. They can go in and manage their registrations themselves. So again, this is exciting functionality that again is going to help us with that transition from outbound to real time. We can also personalize messages and journey decisions based on web interactions. So I can trigger and personalize customer experiences, score leads, track engagement based on their web activity and clicks. So I can generate a script, embed it into my website, and again, use that interaction data on our customers' interactions with our website to maybe use that in some of our journey branching decisions later on. So again, this is something we had in Outbound. Again, this is something that we will be getting in public preview in December, generally available in February. Again, so we're ready for that transition fully over to real time by June. You can also orchestrate journey using any marketing interaction. So again, you can engage your customers with our marketing messages and adapt our strategies based on, again, our customers' real-time interactions. So engaging with customers based on their interactions, I can ramp up the chances of conversion. For example, I might have a branch based on customer interactions with our emails, like they clicked on a link or an email was blocked. We can use some of that behavioral stuff as part of our branching, as part of our journeys. So again, this will be generally available in just a few weeks here in December. Last couple of slides here, the customer insights data piece. We have kind of two here. And again, in public preview, we don't have any green checks yet. I just took these screenshots the other day, but this is what we're looking forward to in in the data application. So when a segment or measure that I build in customer insights data hasn't been used anywhere for a period of time, the system is going to automatically deactivate it. The reason for that is we have a finite amount of resources. And so if I have tons of segments and measures and they're constantly recalculating, that's going to slow everything down. So if there are segments that sometimes I used just once for an email blast or a measure and I don't ever use them again, the system is going to deactivate them if they haven't been used for a while. Now, if the system automatically deactivated something and I need it back, you can still reactivate it, not the end of the world. This again is just about trying to save some resources when it notices like, they haven't really used this much. Let's go ahead and stop recalculating this one. And of course, as an administrator, I could also say, this segment is very important. We only use it like twice a year, but never deactivate it. You can also exclude segments from that automated deactivation process. Again, this is something that we should be seeing generally available still this month in November. You can also help your recalculations and customer insights data by having our data in a Delta Lake format. So Delta Lake format, again, is the ability to track changes over time. And again, this is a lot of processing power that we need here. So what the Delta Lake format does is it just looks for incremental changes, and just the stuff that has changed is what we're going to update in the system. Instead of reprocessing everything for unification, just the things that have changed. So again, this will hopefully speed up calculations and unifying profiles. And again, hopefully this is something that will help us process things faster, get to those predictions and insights more quickly by having our data in a Delta Lake format. For customer insights data, again, around that unifying sales and marketing piece, we have a little green checkbox here. In November, what we can expect to see is a Dataverse connector that is going to provide, again, a great option for getting data into customer insights data. So I can import a larger set of tables, large Dataverse tables. It's improved performance and speed, ingesting the data. We used to only be able to do stuff that was 2 years old or less. That's eliminated. So again, by having this Dataverse connector, we can get our data into customer insights data more quickly. If you're interested in that, if you're using that, you want to learn more about that, again, have the link at the bottom of the slide here. Our last slide together, the last thing that we will talk about is the ability to target audiences based on signals from earlier campaigns. Again, we should be seeing this in public preview in December. So again, this is a way for me to see the interactions while creating my segments. And again, a way to refine my strategies around my segments, basically. Clues for how customers have responded to things in the past. So an example I would say for this one is if I'm a marketing manager and I have a retail store, I run an email marketing campaign. And last month I did a campaign where customers who spent $100 or more, I was going to give them a 5% off discount. And I had a high open rate, but only a few people actually opened the coupon link. So I want to target those people again, but this time I want to give them a 10% off. So this is a way for me to say, look at that last journey, see the people who opened the email but didn't click on the coupon link. Those are the people that I want to target this time as a part of this journey. So again, it's just sort of using what we've already captured in other journeys, using that to help us make other segments here and signals. That was it. That was everything I had to share with you all with 1 minute to spare. Thanks everyone for being good participants. And thanks again. I hope you're excited about some of this functionality that we're going to be seeing. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us here at Boyer. Thanks for attending.